we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 116 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. All right, man. So, yeah, I was absent for a little while. I know I haven't been putting out much product, and there's definitely some slippage there where it was like I try to put something out every week, and then I couldn't put something out every week, and dudes are like, just record something small, dickhead, and like just put out something. And then I started doing the coffee break thing, and then it was like, that will just have to hold you over for a while, man. But this last week was, good Lord, dude, the kick in the balls. You know, I'll tell you what, I get to do some consulting work with some fairly high-end organizations, and while it's cool to be able to work with people who are doing, you know, solid work and performing at a high level, that's terrific. But like when I don't share your enthusiasm for whatever your particular scope of expertise is, like if you're, you know, a fucking, I don't know, particle scientist or some kind of shit, if I don't know nothing about that and I don't care about it, like, dude, trying to sit with somebody who's coming in at like 6 in the morning and they're waiting on your ass, and then you're going to be there till like 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and they're just ready to go, like, all right, I got to get out of here and get some sleep. I'll be back in the morning. Like, this is your whole life, dude. Like, this is how these people get down. And I'm like, damn, man. I mean, I'm sure there are things I care that much about. I'm just not doing them right now. You know, I don't know what the fuck else to say. But, yeah, man, I got done with that. Got back to the pad. I've been trying out some new, I did get a hold of one of those, you know, clip to your collar type permutation type deals. But if I'm being honest, like I don't even know how many microphones I have at this point. And part of the rub is that I got, you know, back at the pad where I'm never around, you know, so it's like if I'm going to sit at home and try to record, it's like, well, that's great, dude, but you're not there that much. So if you have some nice setup there, well, that's something, but probably you're going to be in the car or at a hotel or whatever. So I've got all these fucking microphones, and like the first one I had sounded really cool. I got one of these big ass stereo studio looking fucking Yeti fucking deals from like years ago, and it sounded good, but it was like you got to be in a proper space. Like there can't be sound bouncing around, or it'll sound like you're talking out of a cupboard and it'll sound clunky. So I'm like, all right, well, that's fine, you know, if I'm, you know, because for a few, like I would be in a walk-in closet, you know, and I was like, well, that's fine, but I don't want to be in a walk-in closet no more. So what else can I do? You can get a new microphone is what you can do. So I've got all these fucking microphones. I've got like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7. Like 7 permutations of microphone. So this most recent one, the one that I'm doing, that I'm using right now, is actually like a small one that would just sit on a desk. And it's actually really small, but the sound is halfway decent. Except this one, like you got to hold it in your hand if you're driving. If you're at a hotel, it's perfect. You can just put it there and you can just fucking talk. And it sounds fine. But if I'm driving, then I gotta fucking hold it in my hand. So it looks like I'm like dictating, like I'm an 80s businessman. You know? Make phone call in the morning to Japan. Can I get sushi rice this far into Oklahoma or whatever the fuck? No, nothing like that. So I do have this one coming in that I test fired the other day. Like I got the actual product, but it's a step up, but it's a pain in the fucking ass. I got to tell you about this though. So you try to find shit to plug into your computer, right? Maybe this is simple for normal people, but I'm fucking simple myself. So this shit's harder for me, I guess. I don't know. But you would think that like it's just like a USB type connection, and you plug it in and you plug this in here and you got some program, you turn it on and you go to fucking town. How hard is this, right? Wrong. Fucking wrong. Apparently, when it comes to fucking generating any kind of sound, there's a lot of ins and outs and what have you. And it appears that the better sound is going to come through not a USB cable, but through a much other kind of cable. So you would think of more like if you were playing an electric guitar or some shit, and you're like shh-shh-shong, and you plug this big, horsecock looking thing into something. And now this is where you're going to get your much better sound, because it just goes, I don't know, as best as I can understand it, it's just a better sound all around. So I got this microphone situation where it's like a set of headphones that you would wear, and then you've got this, this much other plug, and you plug this into, I guess it's called like a converter. So I've got that as well. But now the trick fuckery of this is that you buy this shit from one company, right? And now you go to plug it in. Okay, like the thing that takes the sound out of your fucking pie hole and sends it to this thing so it can send it to the computer, to the program. Okay, that's all, that fits. But now the piece that sends the sound back to your headphone so you could tell if you sound like a knucklehead or not, that part is like, oh no, you need a little adapter to plug that horsecock looking plug into this, and then plug it into the whatever the fuck converter or whatever thing. So I'm like, what the fuck? So it's ridiculous. But I got to order a little adapter thing, and that's supposed to show up today. I was gonna wait for it. I was like, dude, fuck this, I can't wait, there's too much going on. But I did do a little test fire on it when I got it in, and I had to fuck around with like the gain and the level and whatever, and again, what do these things even mean? I don't fucking know. I gotta look this up. I should probably look it up. Like, imagine how good things would sound if I would actually read the instructions, I'm like the African that gets the user's manual, and I just look at the picture of like generic man plugging thing into thing, and like, I read the instructions, I don't know why I can't do the thing. It's because you didn't actually fucking read it, dickhead. You looked at the pictures. But, it's how I get down. So whatever. So this week, man, plenty of good shit to go over. I got it in my pocket actually for while I'm driving. So I wanted to hit on the Trump 5D chess situation, and then I also wanted to touch on the Negro fatigue, and quite honestly, I think these things play into one another just a little bit. And then I wanted to go down the rabbit hole on a couple of other things that we were talking about in the chat. Somebody had mentioned raw beef, and I've seen some ideas for like, a beef sushi type of a tip, but I don't know, I'm not so much on that. But I do eat a rare steak, and I mean more so than you can possibly imagine. So I want to get into that a little bit. Steak discussion, like what could possibly go wrong, right? I mean, you could not talk about lots of things, but you never want to not talk about steak. So we'll hit on steak. And then what else, man? Oh, the vehicle thing, the vehicle tip. Yeah, some dudes were talking different ideas on luxury cars, and Marcus was running on about, his preference for high-end type shit. So I wanted to get some thoughts out on that, because I too enjoy an expensive car, but what I don't really dig is some of the, the downside that comes with a lot of this. Like, it's either going to be expensive, or it's not that fast, or it's not that durable, or like, why can I not get all of these fucking things at once? But so I got some thoughts on that. And then lastly, I wanted to wrap up with somebody had asked for, like, I think it might have been Marcus, I don't fucking know, but asking for some stories, like, tell some fucking stories. And I'll tell you, dude, like, I dig stories. I'll get into it. I'll explain myself a little better. Like, one, I dig stories. I love telling stories. When I was still around, I enjoyed being around the other dudes and telling fucking stories. It's a great fucking time. But I just don't really, I don't do it that much no more, just because of the state of things. And two, it's like a self-dox concern. But I do have one or two that I want to, that I could share, I guess, and that will sort of lead into like an admonition for the week, like, hey, here are some thoughts for you. So I guess kicking it off then, man, the Trump 5D tip. So, I mean, I'm in the same boat as I think everybody on our side of the fence, that I can't completely tell if this motherfucker is our guy, or if he is, it's just, if it's just one more smoke screen, or one more line of shit, or one more thing that he's going to double dick down on and, fuck everybody over. But what I will say is that at present, the appearance is that Trump is saying, like, yeah, man, we're not so hip on this bombing Iran thing. We're going to go ahead and have discussions with Iran on our own. This Gaza thing, we're not so hip on you just steamrolling in there and killing even more people. You know, it seems to me that for as much shit as Trump talks, and he does talk a lot of shit, that the dude is not particularly cool with people just getting smoked. He does seem to have a limit on that. Like, he doesn't seem too particularly keen on that. Whereas, I mean, like, fucking Hillary Clinton, I mean, that is a soulless bitch, dude. And I mean, the way that bitch talked was like, talking about Gaddafi, like, this dude, in retrospect, man, I mean, he was always presented, you know, as far back as I can remember, like, this dude was presented as, like, some kind of cartoon fucking villain, man. They're like, this is a bad fucking guy over here. But as it turns out, like, this dude maintained order. Like, imagine trying to maintain order in North Africa. Like, one, maintained order, and two, actually did shit for his people. And the way the guy talked was like, this guy actually talked like he gave a fuck about how things went for his people and how people might remember him. Like, the dude actually seemed to give a shit. This dude died getting something shoved up his ass. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. And I mean, there are people that might have that coming. You know, people with a thing for kids, this kind of thing. Like, you could stand and look at that and be like, the guy had it coming. I don't want to revel in it, I guess. I wouldn't stand there and watch and cheer it on like, hooray. Because like they say, man, like, whatever the bad thing is, it still happened. Like, this isn't going to bring that person back, as they say. Still, you could say, like, well, justice was done, you know, and I can just leave it at that, and that's as good as we're going to get. That's the best we could do. But I wouldn't be laughing and jeering. But this fucking bitch, when Gaddafi got smoked, this broad was like, we came, we saw, he died. Like, just, what the fuck? Super fucked up. But now you compare that to Trump, where he genuinely seems distressed. They're like, I just want the dying to stop. People need to stop dying. The killing needs to stop. And he seems to mean that. You know, as best as I can tell, he seems to mean that. So the Netanyahu then, well, to reel it back a little bit, so it seems at present that the U.S. is negotiating with Iran over, you know, who the fuck knows exactly what, because Iran hasn't invaded anything. Iran hasn't actually threatened anyone. It's just this question of, like, hey, these Jews want to fucking blow you up. That's the long and short. How can we make this work so that that isn't on the table? That's where Saudi kind of comes into play. And, you know, because these fuckers are rich, they carry a lot of fucking weight. So there had been an issue where, like, Saudi wanted to, you know, essentially get worldwide permission to develop a nuclear capability. But the U.S.'s stance was, you're going to have to recognize Israel. You're going to have to be cool with Israel. And then you can do that shit. Because as an Israeli vassal state, the U.S. doesn't want anybody in a spot where, hey, well, I don't like Israel and they don't like us, so we're going to nuke each other. And now the U.S. gets sucked into it. Now we're in the middle of a nuclear wasteland because why? Because somebody in D.C. wanted to bang an underage girl and got filmed doing it, so now they got to vote whichever way the tiny hat says, right? So that situation with Saudi has essentially been pulled off the table, where the component of that agreement that says, like, well, look, you got to be cool with Israel, you got to normalize relations, and then we'll talk about this nuclear thing. Apparently that has been done away with. All right, so that's one factor. Another factor is, like I said, the discussions with Iran are going ahead without keeping Israel fully in the loop, which to me, like, Israel without U.S. charity, like, you're basically fucked. You cease to exist. So exactly why that would require, you know, hey, I got to ask, you know, this stripper that I send a bunch of money to every month if it's cool, you know, if I do X, Y, and Z. Like, bitch, what the fuck do you care? You know, for my money, these Jews, dude, I mean, the balls, dude, the fucking balls. Like, you should be happy that you have anything, really. Like, we've been fighting your fights for you. We fund your stupid asses. We look the other way as you essentially commit a genocide. And yet, you come in with even more demands. Well, wait, is there someone you forgot to ask? What, did I get a look at this? Like, what the fuck is with you people? So Trump has essentially come out and said that, hey, I'm not cool with any more military action by Israel in Gaza. The U.S. has somehow, for better or worse, whatever, facilitated the release of a U.S.-Israeli citizen who was serving in the Israeli army and had been captured and was being held by Hamas, has somehow managed to secure the release of this whatever the fuck you want to call it, this turncoat or whatever, this two-headed pig, has got this guy cut loose. But I listened to one analysis of this thing, and first, apparently, the Hamas position the entire time in terms of hostage release has always been all for all. We'll turn loose all of these, you turn loose all of yours. And you might say that, like, yeah, dude, that's a lot. Well, Israel has a whole shit ton of Palestinians locked up. You're asking about a whole lot of people for not very many people. Yeah, they are. Because how long has Israel been rounding up and incarcerating these fucking people? A long goddamn time. Now, once again, where you might say, like, hey, this is not my fucking problem. No, the Palestinian thing is not your fucking problem. But what is your problem is a renegade fucking state that does whatever the fuck they want, and you get stuck picking up the fucking tab. Not only do you gotta pay for it, when people start talking about these fucking assholes that make this shit possible, they're talking about you, dude. You are the fucking asshole that makes this shit possible. They might not completely understand that, like, yeah, I don't have much of a say, but from their perspective, like, these people don't have a pot to piss in or window to throw it out of. So if you're like, all I have is a vote, all I have is a telephone, all I have is this, that, or other, like, motherfucker, you could pick up the phone and be in touch with an American politician probably by the end of the day. Don't tell me about what you don't have. You got more than I fucking got, right? And that's a fair fucking point. So at present, it appears that Netanyahu is talking about, no, man, we're going back into Gaza. We're going whole fucking hog. We're going to ham slam these motherfuckers. And, I mean, I don't know how there's really much left to fucking destroy. I mean, they've pretty much killed and destroyed everybody and everything, but they're still talking about we're going to go back and do more. And at present, Trump appears to be saying, yeah, I don't support that, dude. And now there was this tweet from Netanyahu talking about, I think we're going to wean ourselves off of U.S. assistance. And I'll tell you what, dude, I mean, I hear this fucker talking, and I feel real sure that when he says U.S. assistance, he doesn't mean the money. He means like calling to get approval. He means coordinating through U.S. forces in the area. He means some kind of backstopping of like, hey, will you stand behind me? Or like, will you stand in front of me so I can talk shit over your shoulder? That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about, will you keep sending me arms? Will you keep sending me money? Because the minute the U.S. stops doing that, that country is fucked. Those people are fucked. I mean, if we even stopped sending money to Jordan and Egypt, those people would be fucked, because it would be like, you know what, I don't really have a reason to look the other way now. This is officially your fucking problem. And I don't have any reason to hold any of these people back. I have no reason to leverage any of these other Muslim countries in the region here. So they want to fuck you up. I'm not going to say anything because it ain't my fucking problem. I'm not getting paid to look the other way anymore. What are you going to do now, tiny hat? So you've got that situation, and then you've also got this South Africa thing where Trump came out and has, to his credit, has welcomed some of these South African families into the country and has mentioned that they are primarily white farmers who have been targeted by their own government and that it is a genocide. You cannot put a fucking price on this shit. And I saw a couple of comments on this shit where it was like, oh, it's crazy being in a timeline where Vice headlines are suddenly news or suddenly truthful information. And I'm like, dude, it don't take a goddamn rocket scientist to look this shit up. Like, dude, there are a lot of motherfuckers getting killed. And I mean, if it's only one or two getting killed the way these nogs kill people in South Africa, if it's only one or two, that's fucking grotesque, man. That's fucking abhorrent. I mean, it spins me the fuck up, dude. Like, I want to jock up and go over there like, what are you here for? I'm just here to liquidate. I'm just here to clear shit off. I'm just here to fucking eradicate you fucks. Because sometimes I honestly gotta wonder, man. Like, you look at some of these people. Like, look at all the places in the world you could go. So many places, like beautiful places, scenic places, stuff you'd like to see, things you'd like to experience. But can you go there? Oh, no, you can't go there, dude. You'll get murdered. You'll get fucking murdered. Why? What for? Just by someone who doesn't like looking at you. By somebody who just, they just felt like killing somebody that day. And they're not going to kill someone in their own family, but you're there, so they'll kill you. And you got to ask yourself, like, what kind of fucking cuckoo fucking level of coping do you gotta be a part of to look at a situation like that and say, oh, I'll just find a way to live with it? In a sane world, you would say, you know what, dude, people who act this fucking way, people who get down this way, they just need to be liquidated, man. Humanely, maybe, I don't know. But these kind of motherfuckers that are going to target somebody, go to their fucking house. Go to the house of somebody that's employing them, that's feeding them, that's keeping them fucking alive. And then not just murder them and take their shit. Not just kill them because they done them wrong in some kind of way or through an imaginary reckoning over some imagined fucking grievance. No, but to absolutely torture them in the worst possible fucking ways. And then, like, not just physically torture them, but to go down the line and, like, I'm going to torture and murder your child and make you watch. Then I'm going to torture and murder the rest of your children, make everybody else watch, torture and murder your wife and make you watch. And lastly, I'll torture and murder you. Maybe leave you alive, just long enough for somebody to find you as you're expiring. That's what these fucking people do, man. And I just, for the life of me, like, I cannot come up with a reason that's like, yeah, we need these people alive. It would be inhumane. You're sinking to their level. No, I'm not, man. I'm making the world a better fucking place. But, until that idea becomes popular, once again, we're just going to have to sit here ahead of the curve. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve, which is something I want to get to, down the line as we talk on. But this Trump situation, man, I think it is very interesting because we could say, that there's so much happening so fast, that including the pharma thing and I don't know all the ins and outs of this because I think it's probably something that'll go away, where he's talking about, we're going to make fucking drugs cheaper here. We're going to, I don't know what, price fix. I don't fucking know. Some kind of way that they're going to make pharmaceutical drugs somehow affordable in the U.S. Because from what I saw, it was something like 75% of a pharmaceutical company's income comes from the U.S. So they're manufacturing this shit. They send it all over the world. Everybody all over the world has to pay for it. But for some reason, you, where you are paying a shit ton more. So either paying a shit ton more or somehow being hustled into taking a shit ton more, which, a little column A, a little column B. But their excuse has always been, well, we have to charge the people more who can afford to pay more because that's how we do research and that's how we... Well, motherfucker, I would say that the research you're doing isn't really paying off too well because look at how well that COVID thing went. You made a metric fuck ton of money and that didn't pay off for shit. Like, here's the thing. When we were talking that COVID thing, a lot of the excuses I was hearing, well, this is building on previous technology. Like, this is building on previous research. That's why we don't need, like, the full 10 years to test and evaluate all this shit. Well, that was obviously wrong, right? But if you were going to stand on that logic in pushing these COVID drugs, why can we not stand on that logic when we're talking about anything else? Boner pills, for crying out loud, right? Like, don't come to me with like, oh, I developed this fucking thing. Well, no, dude, you stood on the shoulders of Cialis, who stood on the shoulders of Viagra, who stood on the shoulders of some shit I got at a gas station. But don't tell me that it took all these fucking years, right? Because by your own admission, well, we're building on previous research. Okay, so build on it. And then stop charging everybody an arm and a fucking leg. Or we could just do the smart thing and start teaching people how to take care of themselves a little bit better when they're younger. And then maybe, everybody doesn't have to be on a boatload of fucking pills by the time they're 35. And for, spoiler, I don't take anything. I don't take shit. all right? I might be dead next week, who knows, right? But I don't take anything. Circling back to this Trump thing again for like the fourth fucking time. There is a lot of shit going on and a lot of balls in the air, and I think in a situation like that, it warrants revisiting that idea of retrograde amnesia, where something crazy happens and it makes you forget the thing before. You know what I mean? So, again, the idea of this here is like you're going along and you have your short-term memory, right? Like shit happens throughout your day, you kind of see it, you remember it. If somebody asks you, like, dude, did you get a bagel at that one shop this morning because they just got closed for fucking food poisoning or whatever, you might be like, oh, fuck yeah, I did just this morning, right? And now you know, like, I should go puke or I should go to the doctor or some kind of shit just in case I get sick. You would remember that because it's just this morning. You know, when it's a year from now, somebody says, hey, did you get a bagel on this day or what did you get? You know, we know you were there. What did you order? I don't fucking know. It was a year ago, dude. That's like your short-term memory. I remember it. It's from this morning. But after a while, it's going to fade away and get replaced by other shit, right? Because I don't need to remember the bagel I ate, you know, whatever, for fucking breakfast or whatever. So the deal with retrograde amnesia then is that something happens and then say you go out and get in a car wreck right after that. Like you might forget that entire morning. Like you wake up like zap, like what the fuck happened? They're like, yeah, you were in an accident, dude. Just be cool. And like, I don't remember anything. What's the last thing you remember? Like maybe you remember getting out of bed in the morning, but everything after that, not so much. That happens with lots of shit. And it's not the fucking physical trauma of being in a car accident. It's just the way that your memory works. And we see this though, like it could be a situation that's not like a car accident or just random, like it can be a designed event. So this is exactly what happened with like 9/11, where it comes out that like, yeah, there's $2 trillion missing from the Pentagon. Nobody knows where the fuck it is. And then the very next day, kablam, like you don't even remember that. You know, if you weren't alive, obviously you don't remember it. But it'll come up every now and then, like you'll see a little news clip of it and people will be like, this never came out. Dude, yeah, it did come out. It came out on September 10th. But by September 12th, the only thing anybody could remember, like for the 2 days prior, was like, yeah, fucking World Trade Center, all this crazy shit. You completely forgot about that other thing. So this is something you see in politics as well, where like they're going to slip something in and they come out to you with this thing and they're like, yeah, we're going to do this shit. Like, you know, we're going to put fucking gender counselors in all preschools. You're going to do fucking what? And now 9/11 happens and you're like, holy shit, but you don't even remember this shit, and it just stays turned on. So with a lot of this shit that goes on, you know, in modern politics, I think they've kind of caught on to this and they really turned it into an art where it's like there's so much, and I say it every fucking week, there's so much going on. And it's hard to keep track of like, what is the thing that you're trying to make me forget? Like, what is the thing that I'm being told about because it's happening and I might be pissed about it, but then another thing comes on and it's like, yeah, you won't even remember that other shit because this is happening. And with all this stuff going on with between, you know, Israel and Gaza and South Africa and Iran and all of this shit, like Russia and Ukraine's not even, oh, holy fuck, dude. The fucking Cocaine Express, that was a good time. I don't even know I'll get to that. But with all this other shit going on, it's like you can't keep track of which is fucking which now. Like, what is the thing I was supposed to be pissed off about? Is one of these things a distraction? Is one of these bullshit? And really, like, the best you could do is just kind of half assume all of it is bullshit. And then if something is important, maybe just keep pulling on that a little bit and see if something is going to stick. You know, because like, you never heard about that $2 trillion again. Fucking Donald Rumsfeld came out and like, yeah, there's $2 trillion. We don't know where the fuck it is. Boom, here's 2 planes into this fucking thing. Here's 3 towers collapsing. And here's you forgetting all about $2 trillion fucking dollars. Oh, and guess what office got fucking vaporized at the Pentagon and was completely fucking in the ether by September 12th. Yeah, exactly. That's the same one, the accounting office. See you later, goodbye. So with this thing here, man, when he's talking about, yeah, dude, I don't approve of what's going on with Gaza, but here's a guy that we pulled out. And, you know, again, I wish, you know, if the guy would have been vaporized, I would have not lost sleep. But this U.S. Israeli citizen who Trump facilitated, Trump personally, I don't know, whatever, U.S. State Department, whatever, Trump administration, facilitated the release of. This guy didn't go and visit Netanyahu, didn't say shit about him, but did credit, yeah, I want to thank Donald Trump for getting me out of there, da-da-da-da-da-da. So that kind of thing, though, this is the kind of thing that can't really wash off, because that motherfucker is still floating around. Like, there was the suggestion of it, and now here's a tangible, concrete fucking thing that, like, this actually fucking happened. This guy's still floating around. And now here's Netanyahu talking about, yeah, I think we have to wean ourselves from U.S. assistance. All of these things, like, you're starting to make that amnesia situation more and more impossible. Like, I can't possibly forget because it keeps coming up. So it's hard to say, like, is there one thing that's that they're trying to, like, oh yeah, don't talk about that though. Is that possible? Or is it like, hey, here's some shit that I want to do. I'm just going to start slinging shit. And it's just going to draw, like, whatever the one thing is that all these different people are going to bitch about, because everybody's going to bitch about something different. They'll all be bitching about a different thing. They're not going to have the resources to gang up on one idea. They'll just have to take whatever I give them. That might be the strategy, and if it is, it certainly seems effective, because that does seem like what he's done economically with the tariff thing, where it's like, it's 45%, I'm jacking it up, I'm going to bang on Europe now I'm banging on China, we're taking China to 100%, you know, like, just, it's back and forth, and all of these little things keep coming up to where, I don't know, it's like getting peppered with fucking jabs, like, you're not sure which way to fucking jump. So that might be the strategy here. Like, I'm just going to throw everything on the table all at once, and nobody's going to be able to collectively focus on one thing to complain about. That might be the ticket. It also might be the ticket to just distract us and shut us up. Like, maybe he just jumps right back in Netanyahu's pocket, and, you know, now we're still standing here wondering for the next 3 years, like, yeah, but that time, what about the time? Yeah, man, fuck you and the time. So, like always, dude, I think we'll have to see, but I'm really interested, really interested. I think a big indicator will be if they go through with this recognizing Palestine. If they do that, man, the mustard is off the fucking hot dog, dude. If they do that shit, I will light a fucking cigar. Not because I give a fuck about Palestine. I don't know anybody in Palestine. But I do know that this will be like this is bad news for fucking Israel. I saw another story where I put it in the chat, dude, and I don't completely understand how all this works, but I guess a major energy investment company or investment group in Norway just divested from Israel. They're like, yeah, we're not going to do business with you no more. And, like, the energy thing in the Scandi countries, like, that's big money, dude. Like, you don't hear about that shit, but those people have fucking money coming off of that shit. So to say, like, yeah, we're not doing business with your ass no more, that's painful. Like, because one, it deprives them of resources, and two, it gives resources to whoever they decide to do business with. So, I mean, imagine they decide to do business with Russia. What does that do, man? That stands up Russia, who is, you know, honestly, they've had their little thing about, we won't stand for anti-Semitism, we're going to denazify the Ukrainian region. Like, yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, the impression I get and the understanding that I've sort of, I don't know, more or less arrived at, because I don't really know so much about these people, but as best as I can understand, is it like, it's like kind of being in the military. Like, they'll say it, like, I'll say, I don't condone racism, anti-Semitism, but then privately, it's like, fuck these fucking people, dude. Which is part of why so many of these Russian Jews made their way to America in the 80s. It became like, dude, fuck you. We just don't dig your ass. Get the fuck out of here. You know, plus they were robbing the place, you know, after the Soviet Empire fell. So they're robbing the place and absconding for their cousin's house in Jersey, which brings us to where we are today. Anyway, moving along then, man, I kind of wanted to hit on the negro fatigue thing, because I think this is something, quite honestly, that's being spun up for the express purpose of steering you away from focusing on these, these tiny hats. And I say that because, dude, any idiot with an IQ above room temperature knows, like, after dark, it doesn't matter how fast your little gas light is flashing in your car. You don't exit at MLK Jr. Boulevard for a fill-up. You just don't fucking do it, right? Everybody fucking knows these people are fucking violent. Everybody, you know, like I said, with an IQ above room temperature, you know, unless you're a blue-haired retard, like, you don't turn your back on these people. You don't give them a fucking chance. The second they stop having concerns that they're going to get their fucking head cracked open if they fuck with you, because that's all it really comes down to, man. If it's a nice, orderly, upstanding neighborhood, they're going to kind of know, like, if you fuck around here, somebody's probably going to call the cops, man. They're going to show up, and then who knows what happens if you can't control yourself, right? But if they get the impression that, like, yeah, this guy's too drunk, this girl's too fucked up, or this girl's all alone, nobody knows where she is, they're going to do whatever the fuck they feel like doing, man. Everybody knows this. Even if it's just whacking you in the fucking mouth just to see if you got anything in your pockets. Maybe it's just because they need something to do that afternoon. They will do that shit. So everybody knows this, man. But suddenly, for some reason, there's been this huge uptick in, like, holy shit, look at this black crime. And I'm like, you just figuring this shit out? Like, okay, we can't fucking live like this. And yeah, I agree, we can't live like this, man. But I know that, like, dudes like me, dudes like a lot of people floating around in this thing have been saying this exact shit for years and years and years. How many times have you heard, well, what if the races were reversed? Like, oh, he's an engineer, he's a future doctor and a lawyer. Like, how the fuck long does it take to figure this shit out? But now suddenly, when there stands to be an issue of, like, hey, these Israelis, yeah, right, Israelis, they ain't too popular. And I noticed that a lot of the tiny hats in whatever the fuck country you're in sure do seem to park their horse at the same saloon. You know what I mean? Like, they're always right there, fucking tiny hat in hand, begging for, hey, we got to support Israel, so do what you can. Oh, God, my homeland, my desert homeland, my co-ethnics, it's my, whatever the fuck. There's no daylight between these fucks, right? I mean, people have said it before, like, these people were a problem before Israel was a state. So murdering Englishmen and all this shit, in order to stand up their little ethno-state, this is the way these people behaved long before there was ever a fucking flag flying over a patch of dirt that they all called home. But, for, field expedient purposes here, we'll just say Israelis. But I find it conspicuous, exceedingly conspicuous, yes, that we don't really start hearing about all of this black crime, or you don't really start seeing anything that's going to get you good and spun up until it's like, well, we kind of need you guys to go at each other, fight a little harder, because, there's a chance that somebody starts looking at me, and now, me and my tiny hat and my fucking 8-legged candlestick are going to end up on another train ride that I don't want to be on. So, yeah, for my money, I think that's kind of where this is stemming from, is that this is the fucking retrograde amnesia piece of, like, look, black crime, and like, oh yeah, look at that, black crime. Like it hasn't always been there. Right? It's always fucking been there. But the awareness of the tiny hats has not always been there. So we need to make sure that we're pushing that. And I'll come to that in due course. So I wanted to take a little relaxation and step into some, something a little more relaxing. Quick take on the auto faggotry. Like, talking about, like, cars and what's a good car and a sweet car and what's an ideal car. And, man, I can dig. I ain't gonna simp too hard, man. At the end of the day, dude, the shit gets you from here to there. If having a nice car is something you dig and something you enjoy, then fuck, knock yourself out, man. But I ain't gonna cheese dick on somebody that's like, dude, I drive a Hyundai because that's what I can fucking afford. Cool, man, drive a Hyundai. I'm not gonna flip you shit. But where you've got your choice, if you're in a position that, like, I can afford a nice car if I want, I have some thoughts on some of this, man. Because there are some nice cars out there, but it's almost like some of this comes with a fucking ball break price tag. I don't mean just in the sense of you got to pay for the car. I mean stuff like, my understanding is Jaguar and Land Rover. Like, I looked up, because there's like a Land Rover diesel product, right? Like, you could buy like a new SUV and it's not huge and it's diesel, which I'm into. But then you look at all the customer reviews and they're like, dude, Jaguar and Land Rover, fuck these companies, man. Like, this is the worst fucking customer service I've ever fucking imagined. And it's like, you almost gotta, and hey, I don't own one. This is just what I read. So if you're from, like, the Jaguar people, don't come to me with, like, you're damaging sales, Coffee, fuck you. Like, no, dude, I'm just telling you what I read. This shit could be completely wrong. I'm just telling you what I read. Anyway, like everything I saw was like, yeah, dude, this customer service is dog shit. Like I drove this thing off the lot. Within a week, I had this go wrong, that go wrong. A headlight doesn't work, whatever. You bring it back and it's like, oh, it's going to be a little while. They don't actually import English people. I'm fucking around. But it's like a long drawn out to do. They're not going to give you a loaner. They're going to jerk you around. It's going to cost you money. And it's almost like having one is like a flex. You know, in the sense that, like, I don't have to be anywhere in any kind of timely fashion. I can afford to leave my car in the shop for 2 weeks. I can afford, you know, a fix-it, you know, of like an extra $1,000 if they sold me a car that had a shitty headlight and they want to charge me. I don't care. It's not a big deal. I just like the car. That's kind of a flex that some of these higher-end things come with, which is kind of fucked up, but it just sort of is what it is. But some of these other deals, man, like... I looked at a Mercedes once, and I had looked at, like, I like nice shit, you know, generally. I'm not super nice. I'm not, you know, such an ultra douche. I guess I'm kind of like the oddball. Like, I'm kind of destructive and kind of trashy in a lot of ways, but I like nice things. So I can't properly explain myself. It is what it is. I like nice cars. I've had a couple nice cars. But anyway, I digress. So I was looking at an Infiniti, and me, I don't much like Infinitis, man. The guy that I was talking to was telling me about, you know, actually a lot of engineers like Infinitis, and I'm like, well, that sort of makes sense, man, because to me, it feels like the cool factor has kind of just been discarded, and like whether it all works really well or not, or if it's efficient and ergonomic or what the fuck ever, like I don't give a shit. Like I get in it and I'm like, I just don't like this. This is not for me, dude. So maybe if some math dude is like, yeah, it's ideally designed and it does X, Y, and Z and you can reach in every direction. I don't fucking know. But me, I didn't much dig it. But the guy that was pitching it to me, he's talking to me about like, yeah, like an Infiniti, this is a car that engineers like. It's for some reason, I don't know. They just all like them. A Mercedes is really nice, but it's built to very, very exact specifications, which is cool. You know, if you're driving it on an exactly specified fucking road, but the minute you ding this fucking thing, like it's fucked. Like if you get a little fender bender or some shit, and again, this is what some guy is telling me. I don't fucking work at Mercedes. I'm not a goddamn engineer. Don't look at me fucking crooked over this shit. It's just what I heard. Everything here is just what I heard. I have no opinions of my own. Anyway, so the guy's telling me like, yeah, dude, you fender bend this fucking thing. Like the whole thing is fucked. Like the whole thing is off now. If anything has to get straightened out, it's going to be not quite straightened out. And then you're going to try to shut the door and it's going to not quite match up. And eventually it's going to tweak the fucking hinge over here, which is going to tweak this front fucking panel. And that's going to go like this and this is going to go like that. And I'm like, fucking hell. I mean, it seems like a lot of ass pain. And he's like, well, yeah, but I mean, the people that can afford to drive this, they're going to have it a little while, and even if it gets a fender bender or whatever, you know, it's fucked up, they're going to be rid of it in a year or so they don't give a shit. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense, dude. So in that sense, yeah, like if you can afford to just get rid of it and replace it with something else, then why the fuck not, right? Like just shit can it and get another. And you could say that's wasteful. It is what it is. I mean, I'm sure if some guy squatting in a fucking shack in Indonesia looked at my lifestyle, it'd be like, I could stay away. I could stay awake. I could stay alive for a lifetime on what you piss away in a week, and I'll just be like, yeah, but I'm doing it anyway. Watch me order this pizza. Fuck, check it out, right? But yeah, dude. As luxury cars go, I like BMWs, man. I had a BMW that was really fucking cool. It was a little turbo diesel, and like a fucking faggot, I got rid of it. Fuck. But I really dug that car, man, and I got rid of it to get something bigger, and now I regret it every day of the fucking week, but it was real fucking cool. It was real fucking fast. The only thing I didn't really like, dude, was that, like, you do find yourself doing it, like, you pull in somewhere, and, like, you're worried about where you're going to park this fucking thing. Like, god damn it, dude, I don't want somebody to put a ding in this thing. Fuckers, dude. Like, you got this car, it's really fucking cool, and now like you got to sweat the load. Like, don't come too close to that curb. Like, don't have the girlfriend marks on the fucking rim. Like, you let your girlfriend park your car, and now it's like fuck, and it's just killing you the whole way, right? So you're worrying about that. You're worrying about who parks next to you. You're worrying about all this shit, and it's like, damn it, dude. So I got rid of that. I got a different nice car, and then I got rid of that. I got the sweet Doomsday Mobile it was a right side drive, but it also wasn't diesel. So I was like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna fucking bump up, get a diesel that I want, that I can run over protesters, should the need arise. And as the nice car factor thing goes, I'll just gut it out, until I, whatever, fucking clear out a place to park, something nice and do it like that. But what the fuck ever. But to me, it's always a pisser that, like, you can't find something that's really fucking nice, because I got a really sweet, diesel product now, but it's like, and it is expensive, granted, it is expensive. But when you get into a car that's like not a luxury product, you get in and you see, like, immediately, like, dude, you could have done a lot nicer on this. You could have put this together a little bit better. And you start feeling like kind of a twat over the whole thing. But then it's like, dude, I didn't make you fucking do this. Like, you get in here, I'll tell you what, dude, like, I went to test drive a Chevy once, man. I was looking for a fucking, like I said, I wanted a diesel truck. I go to look at this fucking Chevy, and I get in this thing, and as soon as I got in it, I'm like, nah, it's all right. Like, it felt fucking slapped together, man. And I mean, again, I don't work at fucking Chevy or whatever. Like, if you like Chevy, knock yourself out, dude. Go fucking crazy. To me, I didn't dig it. So I was like, I don't know what this is about. It's not for me, dude. No, thank you. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's like just having nice shit or expensive shit, like, immediately spoiled me, whatever. I don't fucking know. Tell you what I would like to get, though, as douchey cars go. I'd like to get an earlier BMW, like before all the gadgetry and shit. Because I really, dude, if you haven't smelled the inside of a German car, like a German car, like not fucking made in Alabama BMW or whatever, but like one from in the day, even like a Volkswagen or like a fucking Mercedes or a BMW, if you haven't smelled the inside of one of these fucking things, man, it is something special. Nothing smells like this. And after you smelled it, even if you see a picture of it, like, you can smell the picture. It's fucking wild, dude. So I want to get one of these older BMWs, and then maybe take it somewhere and just, like, I don't know, dude. If I had the dough to do it, get something really cool, and then take it somewhere and have a dude just go through it. Like, just rewire it, re-everything it, clean it the fuck up, make it just fucking so. I want it to be like when it was new. I want it to be like the first time. Oh, God. Right? That would be really fucking cool. But, things as they are, who the fuck knows, man. And I'll tell you what else just hit me right in the fucking mouth, dude, was like, I've been doing a lot of work lately, as you may or may not have noticed, like a lot of fucking work, doing some decent work, getting a couple of dollars gathered together. And I had been saving up some shekels, right? Doing all right. And then, you know how they say, like, well, buy a place because you're going to save money compared to renting. Wrong. Guess what, asshole? You need a new roof. Like, fuck. So I got that to contend with, man. And, yeah, I'm just pissed off, dude. I'm pissed off because my German BMW is still out there in the ether somewhere, and I'm going to have to conjure it up at some point. But that obviously won't be today. Anyway, moving along, dude. I want to go real quick. This is going to go over an hour, so like abuse hour plus, like extra abuse, a percentage of abuse for your ass. So really quick, man, on the steak thing, dude, the raw beef thing, I don't really eat it raw. But I'll tell you this, dude, if I go to a decent steak restaurant, and you can't try this shit at like Red Lobster, man, they will fuck you sideways if you try this shit. But if I go to a decent steak restaurant, which with some of the clients that I get to hang out with happens often as not, you go to a decent place, if you ask them for Pittsburgh style, like I've heard it described as either Pittsburgh style or Chicago style. The more common reference is Pittsburgh style. That seems to be what people are more readily accustomed to everywhere I've been. I don't think I've ever ordered one like that in Chicago. I don't go to Chicago that much, so who the fuck knows. Anyway, I digress. The deal is, if you order it like this, what it is going to be then is like blackened, like almost charred on the outside, but then very, very rare on the inside. And I tell them, like, so just so as you know, like the difference between steaks, like how your steak is done. Like well is like fucking ruined. Like you've just cooked this fucking thing all the way through like you would chicken, and now it's going to be tough. You're not going to taste anything. You're going to taste whatever fucking sauce you have. If you're into that, knock yourself out. But it's the general consensus is like, if you're going to a nice steak place, there's no fucking point. Go to goddamn Sizzler if you're going to order a well-done steak. There's no point in this. Anyway, so it goes down from there like medium, medium rare, and rare. So like rare, it should be like pink. You slice into this thing and it should be like pink and red, and there should be some juice flowing in there. And the idea here is that you're going to be able to taste the fucking steak, dude. To me, it's just infinitely better. The deal with Pittsburgh, though, is like you get a little bit of a char on the outside, so a little bit of a crust going, and then you still have it nice and rare on the inside. But the way they got to do that is they got to get a fucking pan, usually really fucking hot. Because if you put it in there and the thing ain't hot enough, it's just going to cook all the way through by the time you get any kind of, coloring or well-donedness on the exterior of this thing. So it's got to be a place that knows what the fuck they're doing. The way I order it, man, I'll ask them if they can do Pittsburgh. If the waitress don't know or the waiter don't know, if it's a nice place, I'll ask them if they know. If they don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain them and I'll ask them to ask the chef if they could do it. If the guy's not into like turning the fucking heat up and getting a pan out, I'm not going to fucking bother with it, dude, because they will fuck it up and you will end up with a well-done steak. Anyway, I got a story about that that's a goddamn horror story. I'll tell you that in a minute. So when I order this shit, man, I will order it Pittsburgh Blue. And blue is like one step rarer than red. Or rare. What a fucking retard. Rarer than rare. So if rare is like pink and red, blue is like, it's damn near raw. Like pretty much raw. And I'll tell them like, dude, Pittsburgh Blue. And I can't emphasize blue enough. I'm like Patrick Bateman in this motherfucker. I cannot emphasize blonde enough. And I hate to be a fag about it, right? But I mean, I have gone to a place, dig this shit. This is what I was going to tell you. I went to a steak place. I went to see this client in the Midwest, dude. And this dude took us out. Like, this dude ran the fuck did he run? Well, he ran a very, very, very large production facility. Like, this guy was not short on nickels, right? This guy's not scraping together. He's not going a dollar beer night, this guy. This guy had a little bit of money to go around. Anyway, so I go to see this fucking guy. This guy's like, hey, let's go to dinner. I know a great place. I know a great restaurant. It's a steak place downtown. I'm like, fuck yeah. So we go downtown, man. And he takes us to this restaurant. I can't remember what it was called, but it used to be a bank. Like, this is a really old town. And you notice this in a lot of, there's a lot of these throughout the Midwest. These towns that were like big production towns, like Rust Belt towns. Some that were towns during World War II where like a lot of munitions and shit, like tanks and shit got produced. Like a lot of these towns like this that were industrial towns. And the place got built up and it's really fucking cool. And then everything got shipped to fucking China, so the town is like fucking empty now. And there's still people that live there, and some shit's been repurposed, but it's like, it's nothing like what it was, dude. It's a few Africans outside the Dollar General, and then there's like, a paper mill or some shit over there, and it's dog shit. But this particular town, they had one of these industrial type areas, and they had kept this thing functioning, and I guess retooled it to do some other shit. And this guy was getting by just fine. So in this town then that was, pretty old from back when, there's this bank that used to be there. It was a real nice fucking building. Big ass brick building, marble floors, all this shit. And it was so old that like you could see in the marble floors where like people had walked, like because they're always walking the same way and eventually just wears down the marble. And so it was super cool, like walking into this place. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm stoked. So you walk in there, and it's this real nice restaurant. We go, sit down, and I say, hey, can you do a steak? And like me, I always get a ribeye. I love a ribeye, dude. So I order a ribeye. I say, can you do this Pittsburgh? And she's like, oh, yeah. I said, yeah, Pittsburgh Blue. Like, I can't emphasize blue enough. Can you do it? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We are a steak restaurant. I'm like, okay, steak restaurant. I've been fucked before, but you go ahead. So she goes, we're sitting there, we have a couple drinks, we're bullshitting, whatever. Brings this fucking steak back. Well, so there's me, a couple guys I'm working with, and now this guy, and he brings his wife with, right? So there's a gaggle of us at this table. So I'm sitting there, and I'd never met this dude before, right? So this is the first time, like, we've talked over the phone, we put the work together, get out there, meet this dude, we go to dinner. So I've never fucking sat with this guy. I don't know him, don't know his wife, don't know nothing. We get out there, here comes this fucking steak. This broad brings this thing out, and it's like, ding, leaves the fucking food, and takes off. And I'm like, as soon as I feel it, I'm like, fuck, this thing's like a goddamn catcher's mitt. I'm like, this, fuck. And I just know, dude, like, this thing is burned through and through. So I slice this thing open. Sure enough, dude, it's fucking cooked. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. Like, if you cook chicken this hard, you'd be like, nang, 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 nang. But this is a fucking steak, dude. Like, you could sole a shoe with this thing. But I never sat with this guy. I don't know this fucking guy, and I don't want to look like an asshole. So I just gut it out, man. And I'm actually embarrassed. You know, like, I don't want anybody to walk by and see me with a slab of leather on my plate. So I'm trying to burn through this thing and just get it gone and off my plate before anybody sees. So I'm just, I'm trying to get rid of this fucking thing. I'll just sit here and drink, and eat appetizers the rest of the night. I just got to get rid of this fucking steak. So I'm trying to work through this thing, man, and it's tough as fuck, dude. And I'm just like, I'm fucking in pain. I get this thing just about knocked out, and this guy's wife looks at me, and she's like, well, you really like that, huh? I guess you love that steak. You moved right through that. You just wolfed that down. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's good. I'm trying to be cool. This is the worst fucking steak I've ever had, man. And it sucked, dude, because, like, I've had that happen one time before, but I was just with dudes I work with. So I'm like, just send this shit back. And they're like, well, I'll bring you something else. I'm like, no, fuck that, dude. I'm not rolling the dice anymore with you. You say you're a steak restaurant. You fuck this up. I'm not going to give you a chance to spit in my mouth. I'm not having it. But, yeah, steak horror story. But, yeah, you try it out, dude. See what you think. But if you're into... if you're thinking maybe a raw type thing, that'll give you what you're looking for, and it's delicious as fuck. Anyway, moving on, man. I'll tell you a war story, and then somebody else had asked in the chat about like what was my impression, back when in the day of the, like, some of the, I don't know, how would you say, like, racially specific films, like American History X or Romper Stomper or this kind of thing. I'll get to that after I think, maybe on a coffee break after that, because I'm running on and on. But a dude had asked for a war story, and I have a couple that I'll lay out that kind of leads me into what I'm talking about pimping you on this week. So I'll tell you this, like, one funny and one fucking horror story, I guess. So when I was in Iraq, and we're going to look for fucking Carlos the Jackal, we're looking for this fucking asshole, some guy that's, like, I guess making fake documents is the way that I remember it. Making fake documents for people to move around, whatever. So we figure out where this guy's supposed to be at. We go to this house, and we roll up, and, like, sometimes you'd have somebody walking you in, somebody that's ratting somebody out, and sometimes you wouldn't. You just, it gets passed to you like, yeah, the guy lives in this house, and go and get his ass. So we go out here to this house. We don't have anybody walking us around. We get there. We make the initial entry, man, and I was usually one of the first four, usually the first one if I was up front with a guy that's walking us in on somebody. But on this occasion, we get in there. And as soon as I get in, man, I'm along one wall, and there's nobody else. Like, I don't see anybody else in there, but there's just this old fucking woman toddling around the middle of the fucking room. And it's like 2 in the fucking morning or something. She probably heard us fucking around outside. Maybe she peeked. She knew it was us. She probably knew why we were there. So she's moving around in there, and I'm in there, and I can't remember how to say it now, but I'm like, you come here, get down, whatever. And she, like, just gives me this fucking fuck you kind of wave of the hand, which, again, happens often as not. Like, you would think that some, stack of motherfuckers rolls into your house at 2 in the morning, that, probably you'll do what they say and try to figure out how you're going to get out of this situation. This broad is acting like, like I'm trying to sell her solar panels or some shit. Like, fuck you. So I'm like, no, come here. And now she starts toddling towards this fucking door like she's going to leave the room. And that's like a major fucking no-no. And these motherfuckers know the rules of the road, dude. Like, you do what these people say. If you're fucked up, they might crack your head a little. You'll probably get out anyway. But you do what the fuck they ask you to do, and you're probably going to be fine. So this chick is like, man, moving towards this door, and I'm like, fucking wrong, dude. And I'd been there a few months already. So it's like, you kind of learn to navigate these people. They already know because they're there every day of the fucking week. Like, they know how this shit runs, man. And you know you don't fuck around like that. So I'd been there a little while, and I know we both know what's what, man. So this fucking broad is like, moving towards this door, and I'm like, fucking wrong. Move over there and just like one hand swipe. Kazap! And like, this bitch is down. I'm like, stay the fuck there. Like, I don't know what you're fucking doing. I don't know where you're going, or if you're telling somebody some kind of shit. Like, you're not going nowhere. So we get this broad rounded up. We clear out the rest of the house. There's nobody there, which is fucking kooky. Because usually, there's almost always, if there's a woman there, there should be a man there. That's just the way their culture is. You know, because if you're leaving your women unattended, you know, who the fuck knows what could happen, right? One, they could just wander off. They're like fucking cats. Wander off in the night, never to be seen again, right? Or some other dude could just roll in and like, hey, it's my house now. And you broads can't say shit about it, right? Because that could happen too. So for there to be no men here, it's very possible that we just got dimed out and like, yeah, dude, the fucking Americans are headed your way. If anybody's up to anything, you know, you guys should probably head for the hills or whatever. So we're looking around. Nobody else is there, but we do find some of this fucking documents, forging shit, you know, fake shit, this kind of thing. But then we also find this stash of clip-on ties. Like, why the fuck? Have a fucking normal necktie, but a gaggle of clip-on ties. Terrific. After you've done this shit enough, like it's cool guy, right? It's like Call of Duty and shit, you know, for the first couple times. And then it becomes like, this isn't really as cool, you know. If it's not going to be cowboys and Indians, you're not slugging it out and gunning it out and this kind of shit, it almost immediately turns into an episode of Sesame Street. Like, this is just going to be weird, right? This isn't going to make any fucking sense. So everybody's going through here and grabbing a clip-on tie. And like, ding, and like, we got this clip-on tie, right? But now a neighbor shows up, is like out of nowhere, fucking stops in. And I guess he don't like these people, which makes sense because a lot of times, like I don't want to say resistance, because I mean, if you're fighting somebody that's occupying your country, I can at least respect that. I might shoot you in the head, but I can at least respect it, right? But I guess a lot of these cats, they would go straight gangster and they just start shitting all over everybody, like stealing people's shit, fucking with people. You look at them crooked, they legit kill you. There were people that were legit, like, I can't leave my house when these people come to town. Like, if they see me outside, they'll just kill me. I'm like, fuck, dude. So, you know, a lot of times, that's how these people would get ratted out. They fuck somebody around, and that somebody they fucked around would come and tell us. And this was that occasion. So this guy is like, hey, man, I know where he hangs out. I'll fucking walk you in. We're like, fuck yeah. So this guy's going to walk us in. We're all still rocking these fucking clip-on ties. And, we go walking up the street, dude, and it's a little ways, you know, up here across the neighborhood. And we go up here, and it's some shitbox house, you know, obviously kind of a flop house, which is kind of the way a lot of these places are. But there's some dude hanging out there, and some of the boys snatch him up, and they're asking him some questions. We get the place kind of cleared out. It's a pretty easy clear. Like, there's not a lot going on here. But we get the place cleared out, and like, first, we're doing door poppers, which is like, instead of, you know, if you had like a big front door, we're going to do like a big fucking explosive strip, and it's going to launch that fucking door into the house and probably fuck up most of the people that are in there. In this case, it's like a little flimsy ass door, like maybe an interior door would feel, right? Like a hollow core door. So we just do like a door popper, and it's just like a tiny little strip of explosive that you just put up there, and then you just pull the thing, and it's like 20-second fuse or some shit. So we're gonna pop these couple of doors and see what the fuck's going on. So I put one and like step back and like boom and pop this thing and go in there, and it's a bunch of fucking goats. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why the fuck are there goats inside? All right, so now we go to the next door and door pop that one, and it opens up, and these are dirt floors too, right? So now we get in there, and there's people in there, and you hear this. So this asshole that we're fucking looking for is in there with his old lady and his kids. And like, motherfucker, like, what could be lower? Like, for a second, I felt bad that, like, you know, I'm, you know, going hot on this door, you know, when there's like some guy's old lady and his kids in here. But then I didn't feel so bad because I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this. You're doing this. You fucking hid in a room with your fucking wife and kids, dude. Like, if you were smart, you would have left them back at the other house, you fucking clown, where you left whatever that is, your grandmother or your fucking mother-in-law or whatever. Maybe that's why you left her there, right? Hoping she gets smoked. Maybe it's his mother-in-law. Anyway, I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. So I'm especially pissed at this fucking guy. So we're moving out of this fucking place, and I'm cruising, and I'm walking past, like, I'm walking down this hall, and one dude's got this other room locked down with these women and kids in it, and he's like, hey, man, and I'm like, what? And he goes, hey, look at that. And I'm like, what? And I look in there, and it's like a small person, and I don't mean like a kid, I mean like a grown-up. Like, it looks like a grown-up, but like reduced to like a 60% size, like tiny. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, you know, when you see a kid, dude, and the kid should have, like, big heads, and, like, they have, like, you know, kind of thick body kind of thing, and, like, their arms feel kind of stumpier, because it's a kid. It's not a grown-up yet, right? And now you look at this, though, and it's like a grown-up, but it's, like, whoop, like, super small. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, dude, I don't fucking know. I'm like, I guess, like, it's just, maybe it's, like, a small person, or, like, a dwarf, because it's not, like, a dwarf, like, you know, like, stumpy legs and shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't understand what the fuck I'm looking at. And he's like, well, you think we could keep it? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking keep it, dude. I don't. And he's like, yeah, bro, we'll take it back to the pad. And it was like this, it was this little chick, and it had like a little, whatever you call it, whatever they fucking wear, burqa or whatever, the whole fucking penguin get up. Not the blue penguin like Afghanistan, but like the fucking face sticking out like nun looking type fucking thing. But it was small, like it was smaller size. And it didn't look like children's clothes. It looked like everything looked normal except way smaller, right? So super fucking weird. So I'm like, bro, and like I got to tell this guy no, but I'm like, dude, we don't have anything to feed it, and we have nowhere to keep it. And he's like, yeah, that's true. All right, fuck. So we just roll out. So now we're going out. We got the fucking guy we're looking for. We're going outside. We're gonna round everybody up and leave. But these dudes outside, remember the first guy that was out there, just this ghetto motherfucker milling around. The dudes have rolled that guy up, and there's this tipped over refrigerator out there, and they've got this guy stuffed in this fucking thing and sitting on it and beating on it, and like, fuck this guy, right? I don't know. But so he pops out, like there's this one phrase the only phrase I can still remember from Iraq. Wallah ma'aruf means I swear to God I don't know anything. So they're beating on it and laughing, and they fucking open the top of this thing, and this guy pops out like a fucking Jack in the Box, and he's like, Wallah ma'aruf. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I point at the fucking guy. I'm like, we got him right here, you fucking asshole. And the Terp is like, he's saying this shit to him. And the guy looks at the guy and looks at me, and he's just like, he doesn't know to shit or go sailing. I'm like, fuck this guy. Just put him back in a fucking house. Let's get out of here. Or put him back in the fridge. I don't give a shit. So they just fucking like bunch him down, close the fucking door, and we took off. But yeah, it was like shit like that, dude. Like weird shit, like just crazy shit. Like it just kind of happens sometimes. I'll tell you another story that is much less enthusing, I guess, and kind of leads into what I wanted to get at. So I worked with this dude, man, he's dead, but I can't tell you. Well, his name is Jason. But this dude, he was a good dude. I knew this guy for a while. I did a deployment with him. This dude, we got done with that deployment, and we both went on to different places. And this guy had married this girl that was a bartender at one of the bars that we always hung out at. So I think like most places, I don't know, maybe a lot of special ops like crews, you've got your place that you go, right? And that's like your bar. It's not like you fucking own it, but a lot of guys go there. That's like your go-to. Like you get back in town, dude, let's go over here, man. Let's get a fucking beer, relax or something, man. Get a cocktail. So a lot of these places as well, like, they'll hire hot girls because they know you're going to come in, they know you're going to pay, and a lot of these girls, they'll want to fucking pair up with you, man, and they'll be in there like this is, where maybe some girls go to Stanford or some shit to meet their future husband, like these girls get gigs in bars. And it ain't a bad strategy because maybe, you go to a fucking Stanford or a fucking Syracuse or whatever the fuck, and you meet some guy that gets his degree, but then he's just kind of a dipshit, and now you end up living in a broke-ass apartment, right? So instead, these girls, they roll out, they meet a dude who already has a decent job, is kind of somebody, and then you still end up living in a shitty apartment. I don't know what the fuck, right? But it is what it is. So this girl was one of those, and this girl was like half black, and she was, I want to say, I'm inclined to say cute, you know, as cute as one can be. Not super attractive, but whatever, cute, right? Whatever. So this guy ends up marrying this chick. This guy was like quality Aryan breed, dude, like blonde hair, blue-eyed, Germanic dude, fucking good dude. Ends up marrying this chick. But this really was probably before I was the way I am now. But even at the time, I was like, man, it seems like kind of, you know, you're not upgrading here. You know, and I don't mean to insult your wife, right? But you're not exactly upgrading. So they get married. They have this kid, and they have this little girl. So now you've got this, quadroon, I guess. This dude deploys to not Afghanistan. This dude deploys to Iraq again, goes on a target, and they'd have sometimes these fucks. Like, they're always coming up with ways to fuck with you, dude. Like different IED ideas, different ways to fuck around. And one idea that they had that, like, I don't know how good of an idea this really is. It basically guarantees you're going to get killed, but it gives you a chance to take a few guys with you, long and short. So they would do this thing that we called the hidey hole, where they build a place into their house that's like a tiny compartment that's like hidden, and then they'll hide in there with a gun. And then if they think they're going to get caught, or they're about to get caught, or if you find their little hidey hole spot, they'll fucking pop out and start fucking shooting. So you got to have your shit together, dude. You go on target, you know, you're fucking looking around, and like, even you think you got this place cleared out, dude, you don't fucking know, man. Like, I've found shit in like whole fucking ammo dumps inside walls, fucking rockets, all kinds of shit, dude. So like, one of the things we would do is we would always have the EOD guy measure the fucking house. Like, that's part of his job. Like, he would measure the house. He'll go around the perimeter, measure that, and then he'll go inside and start measuring. And what you're looking for is dead space. And like, where's the fucking dead space, dude? Is this wall? Why is this wall like 3 feet thick? What the fuck's in here, right? So shit like this. So they'll build shit like this, and then sometimes they hide stuff in it, and sometimes they hide themselves in it. And this one occasion, then this guy, they hit this target. I don't know if they found whoever they were looking for, but they were all just in there. And I guess, as I understand it, like, they had called the target secure, like that we have control of this structure now, and which means basically you're shifting to going to doing whatever else you were doing. Like I don't know, this part of this complex is clear, maybe, and going somewhere else. Or if there's people there, you're just going to question the people that are there. Like, where did Carlos the Jackal go? When's the last time you saw him? Whatever the fuck, right? But on this occasion, I guess, as I heard it, was that dudes were kind of just standing in the room waiting for something to do, and this motherfucker popped out of a hidey hole and fucking smoked this guy, and he died on target. So that fucking sucks, man. And like, it fucking sucks, not because you die at war, I guess, because everybody that signs up for that at that level, you know what you're getting into. You know you've got an above average chance of not making it back in one piece, dude. You have a pretty good chance of getting smoked. You honestly do, if I'm being completely honest, you have a better chance of dying as part of like a regular Army unit or a Marine unit or something, because to be completely fair, like, these people are not trained nearly to the level that we were trained at. I mean, dude, I've been learning from the best in the world for 10 fucking years, man, before we really kicked off hard, you know. So it was like, yeah, you don't want to get shot, but I got a pretty good chance, you know. Like, I know what I'm doing pretty much here, dude. I'm not gonna get sucker punched through a fucking window. That's for fucking sure. You know, I got an idea what I'm doing here. But, you know, some of these other dudes, you know, some of these other forces, it's like, god damn, dude, like, you don't know what you're stepping into. Some of these poor bastards, I saw them, like, they're hating fucking life. But this situation, it's like, you don't, you know, if a guy gets clipped out of a dude hiding in a hidey hole, it's like, fuck, that sucks, dude. Like, keep your head on a swivel. It's something that can happen. It's something that's out there. But the hard part, dude, is like coming back and I ran into his wife once, and I've ran into other wives that their husbands were dudes that I knew that had been killed. And it fucking sucks because you don't know what to say to them, dude. That's the part you don't really think about. That, like, you're going over here and you might get smoked and you might be fine with that. But what is anybody going to say to your old lady, dude? Like, fuck, sorry, I'm here and he ain't. You know, I can't explain myself. You know, I hope you're all right or whatever. And then the other part is that you feel kind of, I'd have to say I almost feel bad for disapproving of the whole thing. You know, because now I'm looking at this chick, and when I saw her again finally, it was well after I had become more of who I am now. You know, and I'm looking at this woman and her quarter black kid, and I'm like, this was not worth it, man. This guy's life was not worth this, dude. He's better than this. This is what is left. A guy of that quality. And this is what is left. And I feel bad because it ain't her fault and it ain't that kid's fault, but it is somebody's fault, man. And it fucking sucks to be at this end of it and then look at it and see it. But I guess the thing is that as war goes, dude, as, you know, dude was asking for war stories. And I won't say that, like, I can't say that, like, oh, it was a hard time. I don't like to talk about it. I don't give a shit. I had a great fucking time. It was, I'm not going to say easy, but I will say that I'm mentally tuned for that. I'm fine with it. You know, whereas, like, I can barely cross the street by myself a lot of times, and if you ask me to show up to the same office for a week straight, I'm going to have a fucking problem with it. I'm not designed for that. This other weird shit, I'm designed for. I was fine with that shit. So to say, like, oh, it's hard for me to... It's not hard to talk about, dude. That wasn't the fucking problem. The problem is realizing later that you got cheese-dicked. Realizing later that you got fucking lied to. Realizing later that so many decent quality white men are fucking dead. For fucking what, dude? Because Israel wants more fucking beach real estate? What the fuck? So when I think again, you know, of, like, this guy's half-black wife and his quarter-black kid... Why do I even got to feel any kind of way about this, dude? Like, just the fact that I got to look at this situation and be kind of pissed that this guy is fucking dead, all this really tells me, I guess, is that there's something else in play that kind of needs to be considered. And that's what I wanted to get to with, I guess, with you all, is that I put that clip of the... from that Dark Knight movie in the chat with the Joker. Yes, Keith Gay Cowboy, I can't remember his fucking last name. Anyway, he's talking about, I'm not a monster, I'm just ahead of the curve, right? And if we've seen nothing over the last, year, I think we could safely say that we've seen that we are not monsters. We are just ahead of the curve. We are the ones who saw years ago that I don't see how this ends well. We are the ones who saw the pattern, however long ago for any of us that are here. We are the ones that saw, like, look, I notice a certain consistency between the last names of the people who are always up to no good. I see a pattern forming. I see a lot of U.S. policy is built around one bullshit story that could not have possibly happened, that we keep seeing again and again. Different aspects of it are shown to be complete fucking lies. We're not monsters for seeing that. And now slowly, other people are catching up to us where we are on the curve. People are starting to look now and say, these fucking Israelis, dude, this is genocide, man. This is not fucking acceptable. For us, then, I think what I want to get at is that it does us no good to be too angry at people who are catching up. I think at this point, there's I want to say three different groups of people. There's people that are already here. That's us. There's people that are catching up and saying, hey, maybe 109 countries aren't completely wrong. Maybe 110 is a good start. And then we just see where things go, right? And then lastly, there's the people that are just never going to get here, right? The programming is too strong. The NPC factor is too strong. You walk away for 5 fucking minutes and you walk back and they're going to go, hey, new in town, huh? No, goddammit. You're not paying any fucking attention. I was just here talking to you. those people you can't do a thing with, man. But the people that are catching on, I think, and I hate to like, suck our own dicks like we're so fucking smart, but are we not? Were we fucking wrong? No, we were 1,000% fucking right. Even the times we're talking about it, is it just me? Am I fucking nuts? Am I the only one taking crazy pills around here? No, dude. Look, people are catching on. You were not fucking wrong. But what that also means, man, is that we do not own this spot, right? This does not belong to us. People that are catching up, we don't have an inherent right to break balls. We don't have really a right to say, I fucking told you so. We don't really have a right to say, what the fuck took you so long? Are you fucking stupid? Knowing a thing does not belong to anybody, I don't think. What we can do, though, is be accommodating and say, look, man, if this makes sense, this over here might make even more sense, right? If holy shit, it actually is a genocide, if holy shit, they actually were lying about beheaded babies, hey, maybe they were also lying about fake showers too. Maybe they didn't accidentally forget to tell you about the swimming pool and the hospital. Just a thought. Take a look. And where we go from there, I think, is just like we do now, is continuing to fill in where we can make ourselves useful. Because I think one of the mistakes that this movement has consistently made, and even as we make progress, I think one of the mistakes that consistently comes up is that dudes who are smart, dudes who are in the know, dudes like Mike Painovich, right? A smart guy, a well-spoken guy, a solid guy, as I understand. I don't fucking know the guy personally, but just based on what I can see and understand. But as people start coming onto this thing and the numbers grow, I think the mistake that the dude made was assuming that he would still be at the top of the food chain. As people come into this thing, there are going to be people who might be, whatever, more charismatic, more research-oriented, better suited to explain the positions, better suited to design programs to make shit run right in the absence of these parasites. And in that sense, I would say like it's actually a privilege to be able to sit back and watch the machine run. I don't ever want to be in the room where I'm the smartest fucking guy in the room. If I'm the smartest guy in the room, that room is fucked. You know what I mean? I would much rather be part of a movement where like, yeah, I have something to offer, but I ain't the biggest dog at this fucking trough. Like there are guys who know what the fuck they're doing in here. There's a guy over there that knows people in D.C. There's a guy over there he'll write a fucking speech that'll keep you up nights. There's a guy over there that can find out anything about anybody in an hour or so. I'm not any of those fucking people. I'm just a guy with a shitty podcast. But if me having a shitty podcast can get any of those guys into this room, then I'll do this all fucking day. And if somebody comes along with a better podcast or 3 or 4 podcasts and people are like, this is the shit. Hey, Abuse Hour, get fucked. Like, okay, I'll be over here. I'll be at the bar getting fucked up then. That's fine, man. I don't always want to be the smartest guy in the room, and you shouldn't either. So in that sense, I would say that, like, yeah, we were ahead of the curve, and that's good. Maybe that is our talent, all right? And if that is your talent, then cool. As this picks up, then you can rest and be like, yeah, my job is done, man. I did my piece of this. And then help out where you can. But I think that's the thing I wanted to leave us with, man, is that, like, just because we get some things figured out doesn't mean we got to feel a kind of a way about it towards other people going down the pipe. And I guess the way that sort of relates back to what I was saying about this dude Jason that got smoked a while back is that, like, yeah, I still feel a kind of a way about that, about him having, a quarter black kid and then being gone, dude. I feel like it's a complete fucking waste. But when I talk to other guys from the community, it's, to me, I still have to remind myself, like, this could still be somebody that's going to figure things out, that's going to understand where we're coming from, that's going to understand, like, look one day and see, like, holy fuck, I think we got lied to this whole time, and then be willing to, like, yeah, look, dude, let me help you a little bit, and not throw a guy a bunch of shit about, like, what the fuck took you so long, motherfucker, all right? So with that, man, that's all I got, dude. And apart from just admonishing you, I will congratulate and thank you once again for being ahead of the curve and gutting it out where you can. So with that, man, I'll leave you to it. That's like that's like 150% abuse just about there, or damn near. But until next time, man, keep your eyes on the horizon and keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee. These are my takes.